Good Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Tuesday. We have the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you've been part of my conversation with Dr. Andrew Cutler and Karen Ladrell talking about bipolar disorder. March 30th is recognized as World Bipolar Day. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Tuesday headlines. In national news, Biden says remark on Putin's power was about moral outrage. President Joe Biden said Monday that he would make no apologies and wasn't walking anything back after his weekend comment that Russian President Vladimir Putin cannot remain in power, attempting to turn the page on a controversy that clouded his recent trip to Europe. The president also insisted he's not calling for regime change in Moscow, which would have represented a dramatic shift toward direct confrontation with another nuclear-armed country. I was expressing the moral outrage that I felt toward this man, Biden said. I wasn't articulating a policy change. The president's jarring remark about Putin, which came at the end of a Saturday speech in Warsaw that was intended to rally democracies for a long global struggle against autocracy, drew criticism in the United States and rattled some allies in Western Europe. Biden on Monday rejected the idea that his comment could escalate tensions over the war in Ukraine or that it would fuel Russian propaganda about Western aggression. Nobody believes I was talking about taking down Putin, Biden said, adding that the last thing I want to do is engage in a land war or nuclear war with Russia. He said he was expressing an aspiration rather than a goal of American foreign policy. People like this shouldn't be ruling countries, but they do, he said. The fact they do doesn't mean I can't express my outrage about it. Biden's remarks ricocheted across the globe, despite the White House swift attempts to clarify that the president only meant that Putin cannot be allowed to exercise power over his neighbors or the region. On Monday, United Nations Secretary General responded to Biden's speech by saying that we need de-escalation. We need military de-escalation and rhetoric de-escalation. Although Biden has frequently touted American unity with European allies since the invasion of Ukraine began, he appears to have caused some discomfort by targeting Putin in Warsaw. The French President Macron said Sunday he wouldn't use those terms because I continue to speak to President Putin because what do we want to do collectively? We want to stop the war that Russia launched in Ukraine without waging war and without escalation. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was forced to continue to clarify Biden's speech during a trip through the Middle East, where he had intended to focus on solidifying American partnerships as the administration seeks a renewed nuclear agreement with Iran. Speaking at a news conference in Jerusalem, Blinken said Biden meant that Putin cannot be empowered to wage war or engage in aggression against Ukraine or anyone else. In more national news, judge says Trump likely committed crimes related to election. A federal judge on Monday asserted it is more likely than not that former President Donald Trump committed crimes in his attempt to stop the certification of the 2020 election, ruling to order the release of more than 100 emails from Trump advisor John Eastman to the committee investigating the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. The ruling by the U.S. District Court judge marked a legal win for the House panel as it looks to correspondence from Eastman, the attorney who was consulting with Trump as he attempted to overturn the presidential election. Based on the evidence, the court finds it more likely than not that President Trump corruptly attempted to obstruct the joint session of Congress on January 6, 2021. The judge nominated by former President Bill Clinton wrote in the ruling submitted in the Federal Central District of California. Eastman was trying to withhold documents from the committee on the basis of an attorney-client privilege claim between him and the former president. The committee responded earlier this month, arguing that there is a legal exception allowing the disclosure of communications regarding ongoing or future crimes. In entertainment news, Oscars audience tops 15 million, exceeding last year. Television ratings for the Oscars rebounded somewhat from last year's record low, but the event clearly doesn't have the appeal to viewers that it once had. Sunday's ceremony reached an estimated 15 million viewers, according to preliminary Nielsen Company numbers released on Monday by ABC. A more detailed estimate is expected today, with elements like out-of-home viewing added. Held in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, the 2021 ceremony had reached a startling low 10 million viewers that led to several changes in the Oscars going into this year, including the addition of hosts and awarding 8 categories ahead of the broadcast and editing them into the live show. And finally, in business news, Wall Street shakes off a midday slump and ends higher. Stock indexes bounced back from a midday slump on Wall Street to finish higher Monday, adding to the market's recent winning streak, despite lingering worries about the resilience of the global economy amid surging inflation and geopolitical tensions. The S&P 500 rose 0.7% after being down as much as 0.6%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average eked out a 0.3 gain after having been in the red much of the day, while the Nasdaq Composite climbed from a 0.5% deficit to climb 1.3% higher. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for the Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich. Mary Ellen, take it away.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen with your Truth of the Day. Forgiveness is your heart medicine. Forgiveness is the most powerful tool you have to bring peace, love, and healing into your life. You must forgive your past to let go of it and finally forgive yourself. Forgiveness is about releasing your sadness, sad memories, negative thoughts, or other past errors in order to find gratitude for everything in your life right now. Be grateful for your hard times, as this is when you learned how strong, how capable, and how worthy a person you are. As forgiveness floods your soul, you experience the joy and happiness you thought you would never have in your life. You know you are never alone, because even when you are by yourself, the power of forgiveness sends you love. This love or forgiving the self takes you from pain, isolation, and fear all the way back to knowing God. Today, understand no more fearful dreams will come now that you rest in God. And always enjoy the day.
We are part of my conversation coming up with Dr. Andrew Cutler and Karen Ladrell in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with the Entertainment Spotlight. With March 30th being recognized as World Bipolar Day, Dr. Andrew Cutler and also Karen Ladrell stopped by Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about bipolar disorder and what you need to know about it. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Dr. Cutler, let's start with that. What exactly is bipolar disorder?
Well, Cyrus, I want to tell you, your experience is not unique. I've got family members as well. And so this is a common disorder. Over 3 million U.S. adults have bipolar 1 disorder, and it's a condition that can cause unpredictable high and low mood and energy changes. We call them swings, also known as manic and depressive episodes. And these episodes can cause significant impact, impairment, and distress in people's lives. It's hard to diagnose because the symptoms can look like other conditions, especially what we call major depressive disorder or unipolar depression, which doesn't have the manic symptoms. And it's a complex and often misunderstood condition, and that's why Karen and I are so happy to be here today and partnering with AbbVie to help raise awareness of this condition.
And Karen, I want to thank you for your time. As I mentioned, you're a musician as well. But talk to us about your own bipolar journey. Karen, talk to us about your diagnosis and what it's been like for you.
Sure. So my journey to receive a diagnosis took 15 years. I started experiencing symptoms when I was 19 years old. I was having trouble sleeping. I noticed problems with my memory along with changes in my mood, but I didn't realize that what I was experiencing actually went together. And so over the years, I knew something was wrong, but I wasn't quite sure what. And I eventually decided to meet with a psychiatrist. I shared my symptoms and my family history. My mom had bipolar disorder. My uncle had bipolar disorder. And, being able to talk to someone and having them help me put the puzzle together.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this edition of Conversation Daily News. Prepare to get on tomorrow with more news, Truth of the Day with Mary Ellen Ciganovich, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Let's make it a great one.